Amongst us, we have Honorable Mayor Nasipi Moyo. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming to join us this evening. Amongst us, we also have the Deputy Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mr. Sihle Zigalala Okuzeni. Siyabonga. Siyabonga kakhulu. We also have amongst us the MEC in the province for infrastructure development and COCTA, Mr. Jacob Mamabolo. Representing Miss Amelia Mjali, who is the CBE chairperson, we have Miss Snowy Makudu. And of course, our amazing partners, Mr. Obang Nkawone, Mr. Reginald Dimane. Thank you so much to everybody who is here. A few housekeeping rules. I'm just going to ask that we keep our phones on vibrate or on silence, just so that there are no disturbances for the speakers that are going to come up here, as well as the awardees tonight. I'm also going to let you guys know that if you come out the doors and turn onto your right, as well as to your left, there will be bathrooms there for both men and women. You guys are free to kindly use those. The program is going to continue. Starters and dinner are going to be served as the programming is going ahead. If we can just all be cognizant of the fact that speakers will be speaking while we're eating. So for us to kindly just respect them in them bringing forward their message. Also, I just want to ask everyone to be present here tonight. It's so easy for us to be thinking about the next. What am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing this evening when I get home? You know, the child is home. I need to go make milk. I need to go prepare for tomorrow's meeting. I need to prepare for tomorrow's run. And then you miss the moment. And this moment is about you professionals. And we are here to honor you, and we are here to also embrace you and also be happy with you. So if everybody can just be here and present in the moment. As we move on, I'd like to call upon the Capital on Park team to give us a quick brief on our emergency exits and what happens if there are safety protocols that have to be adhered to in case we might have any emergencies tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Capital on Park team.
Thank you so much, and welcome you all to this prestigious event. For those that are coming from the coastal areas or from far afield, welcome to Gauteng. This is our home, and your home till further notice. So with no further ado, I know I wouldn't want to overmilk your patience. I know you are ready for the program. So let me say, all dignitaries and protocol observed, welcome you all. So I'll start with our main ablution facilities. Our bathrooms are located from across this building, directly across to my direction where I'm pointing. You'll find the male and female ablution facilities and others over adjacent to the pool. There's a pool located to my left. There's also another site that side. And also our evacuation procedure, any team who is wearing this jacket or the waiters or any formal employee of Capital on the Park will be there to provide maximum support in terms of our procedure without obstruction. So from the main entrance, that's where the direction we take to the assembly point. That's where it is located. So you wouldn't have to worry about where to go and how to go. Our sirens will go off, and in any case, we'll be there to guide you forward. So welcome once again. In terms of our upkeep, safety, we are here. Please just feel comfortable. So from this moment forward, the program starts, everything will be in good order. Welcome once again. My name is John Awadi, where I'm representing Capital on the Park Management. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wait, Mr. Awadi. So what happens if there's a siren that goes off tonight? What should I do?
if there's a siren that goes off tonight, please just be calm and be patient. Yeah, I know there's a tendency of,
Panicking.
yeah, but we are in control of everything. So we have run this institution with zero, fatality in terms of anything. So your life is not in danger. Even if the siren can go off, is for us to be able to help you forward. So we'll help you through.
Thank you so much. In other words, we're in safe hands, ladies and gentlemen. All we'll have to do is listen to the Capital and Park team take over if any emergency happens tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Okay, so I'm feeling safe. Just to give you guys a rundown of what's going to happen tonight. So we're going to start off with some speeches from our dignitaries as well as our keynote address tonight. And then we're going to move on to the fun stuff, which is the awards. Now, let me reintroduce myself. Igama lami nguNomfundo Wakamkhize. I work for Ukhozi FM, which is the biggest radio station in Africa with a listenership of 7.2 million listeners. I curate the breakfast show at Ukhozi FM. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be hosting these awards tonight for these professionals. Another round of applause. We're gonna get right into it because time is yeah. In my language, the dog ate the time. Astoligwa, I'm sorry, that's just how you're gonna have to accept it. The dog ate the time. So we're gonna get into it and we're gonna go into our welcome address tonight. That's not my job. I'm just here to make sure that you guys feel comfortable, but I don't do the official welcomes. We're gonna go to the MEC. So to officially welcome us, we need to turn to leadership, which is at the center of infrastructure delivery in our country. A leader tasked with translating policy into projects and vision into a visible change. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the MEC for Infrastructure Development and COCTA, Mr. Jacob Mamabolo.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Thanks a lot and congratulations to the excellent work you are doing tonight. Let me take this opportunity because the Program Director said we don't have time. So everybody who has listened to me before, they are worried I'm going to give a long speech. This is going to be the shortest and I promise I'm going to deliver on that. So greetings to the Honorable Deputy Minister, well known to all of us, and the entire leadership that is here, all the guests, the mayors, all the councillors that are here, and of course, to all of you who took your precious time to join us here tonight. I'm deeply delighted on behalf of the Premier of our province, Honorable Panyaza Lesufi, to welcome you to this very important event and to assure you that this province, for those who might be coming outside of Gauteng, let me assure you that you are in the city of gold and you could just check, you might meet it somewhere as you walk around. So without much ado, feel at home. We're looking forward to congratulating and celebrating with those who will be receiving the awards. And of course, with that, let us congratulate in advance the winners. And I'm looking forward here to our province, the home ground of innovation, we hope. The panel would have taken that into account, that Gauteng is the home ground of innovation. And on that, all protocol observed. Thank you very much. Feel at home. Thank you.
Feel at home, SABC2's tagline. I know what you watch, MEC. I know what's your favorite channel. Thank you so much for welcoming us, especially in the province of Gauteng. We take for granted that asiveli so the CBE. It was meant to be Miss Amelia Mjali. However, Miss Snowy Makudu will be speaking on her behalf.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing here on behalf of the chairperson of the Council for the Built Environment, Ma'am Amelia Mjali. And I guess the MEC has welcomed us, MEC Mama Bulu. Re a leboga. Let me start first by acknowledging the portfolio chair for Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mme. Carol Piri, and acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Minister, Mhlonitshwa Honorable Sihle Zikalala. Acknowledge the MEC Mama Bulo. I guess he just stepped out. And acknowledge the presence of Mhlonitshwa Honorable Executive Mayor Dr. Nasipi Moya from City of Tshwane, and also acknowledge the council members, the CBE council members, the chairpersons and presidents of professional councils, the chairperson and the board members of Swaziland Construction Industry Council, the CBE Chief Executive, Dr. Msizi Mieza. Also acknowledge Ntate Oupa Nkwani, who is the CETA administrator, and further on acknowledge the chief executive officers of public entities and senior officials representing DPWI and other government departments. Ntate Demana from Sanral, we acknowledge your presence. Our guest speaker, as indicated, the industry partners and members of academia, ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. On behalf of the Council for the Built Environment, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the third Built Environment Recognition Awards, shortened for the name Bera, celebrating the achievements of the 2025 cohort. Would rather be late than never. This was supposed to happen late last year. However, here we are and we're moving forward. This evening, we come together to acknowledge excellence, dedication, professionalism, and making sure that within the sector, we need to play a critical role in shaping the social and economic fabric of our country. We extend our sincere appreciation to our valued partner, Construction, Education and Training Authority, CETA, for their continued support during the stewardship, under the stewardship of the Minister of Higher Education and Training. Through these partnerships, we remain steadfast in our shared commitment to strengthening professional capability and advancing the built environment sector. At the CBE, these awards will be presented tonight. They represent far more than just a ceremonial occasion. They serve as a meaningful platform to recognize and celebrate our peers who have successfully navigated the demanding and challenging journey towards professional registration. This achievement is not merely a personal milestone, it is a demonstration of resilience, competence, and unwavering commitment to upholding the standards and the integrity of our built environment professions. Our deliberate focus on advancing the professionalism of the built environment sector is directly aligned with our broader vision of contributing to the state capacity building. By strengthening professional standards, we lay a great foundation for resilient infrastructure, sustainable development, and inclusive communities that will serve generations to come. The rationale for these awards is firmly rooted in several key objectives: promoting excellence, recognizing outstanding achievement, and celebrating innovation that drives progress across our sector and our country. The individuals and organizations we are honoring this evening continue to raise the bar, setting the new benchmarks that inspire growth, accountability, and transformation within the built environment sector. These awards shine a spotlight on trailblazers who consistently demonstrate leadership and innovation and ethical professionalism. In doing so, they inspire all of us. They uphold the best practice and reinforce credibility and public trust placed in our professions. Importantly, the built environment recognition was also the highlight for transformative power of collaboration. Our experience from previous ceremonies affirms that when government, industry, professional bodies, academia work together, we possess a collective strength to meaningfully transform the built environment and deliver a profound and lasting impact on the society. This evening also provides us with the opportunity to bestow the Chairperson's Award for Excellence in the Built Environment, an award reserved for individuals whose lifelong contributions have profoundly shaped the sector and left an enduring legacy. It is with great pride that we recognize Professor Pat Naidoo, a recognized distinguished leader, academia, practitioner, whose remarkable contribution to built environment has had a lasting national impact that will be recognized in absentia. Prof. Naidoo's career is characterized by unwavering commitment to professional excellence, ethical leadership, and advancement of transformation within the sector. The award is a fitting tribute to a career defined by service, integrity, enduring commitment to excellence. And the legacy continues to inspire both current and future professionals to lead with purpose and contribute meaningfully to the development of our country. As we celebrate the achievements before us this evening, let this occasion remind us of the immense potential that resides within our sector. Let it energize our collective efforts, strengthen our partnerships, reaffirm our commitment to excellence, innovation, and collaboration. Thank you for being part of this important journey. Together, let us continue to build a future that is defined by professionalism, innovation, success, and ethical conduct. I thank you.
Thank you so much to Ms. Snowy Makudu, speaking on behalf of the CBE chairperson, Ms. Miriam Jali. Thank you so much also to our sign language instructor next to me. A round of applause. If you don't know, South Africa now has 12 official languages. It's not 11, it's 12. And sign language is one of them. I'd like to teach you one thing tonight, which is to say, I love you. My mother works at the School for the Deaf in KZN. So one of the ways we bonded with her, when she was learning how to speak sign language in order to be able to take care of the children, she would teach us. So I'd like to teach you, I love you. If you'd show us, I love you. I love you is like this. So there's the I, that's the I, then the L for the love, and the you. I love you. All in one. All in one, now you know. Or if you're lazy and you don't want to use South African Sign Language, you can just use what's trending all over the world and specifically in Brazil. And our own president went and did it, and just use this, the love sign. This is the international sign for love. So when you see all these new these 2Ks doing this, it means love. It means I love you. But thank you so much again, Sisi. So we do have sign language here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It just goes to show you how inclusive we are going to be tonight. What I loved, Ms. Snowy, you kept mentioning excellence. And the more and more I'm learning about this environment, this built environment, this sector, is that excellence is at the forefront because we are dealing with people's lives here. Our livelihood, our everyday livelihood, that yes, we take for granted. I apologize on our behalf, but excellence is at the forefront of these awards and of this sector, and I can sleep better as a South African. We are going to start serving starters as the speeches are carrying on. So like I said, please be wary of that. Starters will be coming to you. But we're going to move on to a very important part of this evening, which is our speeches from our partners and our supporters. You know, without CETA, this work really means nothing. And this work is unable to be done. The 5,000 professionals that we are going to be acknowledging tonight in this whole journey would mean nothing if we didn't have seaters that were supporting us and that were building with us. So transformation requires that. It requires investment in people. It requires for government or private sector or anyone to actually invest meaningfully in order to get a value. So a meaningful investment has been made in each and every professional here tonight. And that value, South Africa is going to get to enjoy. So ladies and gentlemen, at the forefront of supporting us, the CETA and supporting the transformation that is required in this sector. Ladies and gentlemen, please can we welcome our administrator at the CETA, Mr. Opa Nkawone.
Program Director, Remo. We are here, Program Director. Thank you very much. My surname is Nkwani, but it depends geographically where I am in the country. Yeah, when I'm in the northern part of the country, my surname is Nkwani. But as I'm driving to KZN, just after when you start, where you descend, what do you call? Harris, on entry where you start, when you start going down. Yeah, what pass? Anya shensha ke manje, ngiba ungwani, ngiba usangweni, ngiba uhlongwane. Ngiba muhle njenge nhlabathi elwandle. So they are change depending on which side of the country I'm at. So that is on a lighter note. Program Director, thank you very much. Let me start by acknowledging the Deputy Minister, Sihlesi Galala, and our Program Director once more, Mam Kize Kabazela. The Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Mekerol Piri, Honorable MEC, I'm sure you are confused. Manje upoke nagai, kimgcina loko City of Joburg. Emfuleni, Skawara, my career it's a bit embarrassing. My great brother, the CEO of the built environment, we share profession, we are all urban planners. In absentia, I see my great brother is not here, the CEO of the CIDB, I don't see him. But I also want to take this chance to acknowledge all the chairpersons of the entities of our great department of DID, chairpersons and the registers of all our professional structures, CISA, town planning, QS, everyone. I've seen a whole lot of them are also here. And the partners in the built environment, I've seen the BBCBE colleagues and friends and partners in the game of the infrastructure programs are here. I've seen people who also want my business card after this meeting. So I'm going to dodge. Literally, after speaking and eating and listening to the Deputy Minister's speech, I'm literally going to run away. I need to have opened a window called the discretionary grant window period, and we're in the process of evaluating that as construction sector. So everyone wants my attention. I am going to run away. Apologies for that. I want to start with what the President said at the State of the Nation address. Let me quote the Presidential State of the Nation address. For many years, fixed investment has been declining. We are now changing that. The government has committed 1 trillion in public investment over the next 3 years to build and maintain infrastructure in South Africa. This is the largest allocation of its kind in our country, and it will be transformative. Just doing the simple numbers, that means about 27 billion rand a month, Honorable Deputy Minister. That is the kind of money that the President said over the next 3 years, we're going to be collectively spending as a country in infrastructure development program. It is both an honor and a privilege to join this August event that I accordingly subsidized to a greater extent. Fagimalu Zobon. Tonight, we gather under the powerful and purposeful theme, Road to Professional Registration, celebrating the professional excellence in building resilience and inclusive South Africa. This theme speaks directly to the heart of our national priorities, strengthening skills, development, accelerating transformation without fear and favor in the built environment workspace, which is characterized by complex infrastructure development. So this means that after this conversation, our interventions need to be characterized by decisiveness, deliberate effort, so that this 27 billion rand over and above achieving its infrastructure, but it must also achieve the socio-economic dynamics of our country. The Bera Award is just not only an award ceremony, it's a strategic instrument that elevates the national discourse on professionalism, accountability, and excellence in the infrastructure space. Skatela Machanzas, we want to professionalize the sector. If you graduate from a university, go through a particular process with all hands-on support measures to make sure that we register and become a professional entity. So this is a platform that which make visible, often unseen journey of thousands of individuals that remains with their academic qualifications, but don't necessarily progress towards a professionalization and registration with their respective agencies. This year we celebrate a remarkable milestone, and that we collectively recognizing over 5,000, 4,000 who have progressed towards the professional registration. On that note, I sincerely want to thank all the partners that have been involved. It's quite a decent milestone, but we still need to do more as partners in the built environment space. As a strategic partner to the Bera Awards, CITA's involvement underscore the very most strategic important part. We are the only accredited agency in the country that does education, training, and professional practice in consistent with our mandate. You might even hear in the president yesterday that the conversation around the reconfiguration, repurposing, and the restructuring of SITA need to assume footing. That conversation, SITA will be one man standing. Through our investment in the skills development, work integrated learning, and structured programs, which we are working to ensure that graduates do not only remain at the margins of the economy, but they are supported through a number of transitional and deliberate interventions so that they can become fully fledged professionals who can contribute significantly towards the infrastructure delivery. I can imagine that 27 billion rand a month, QS, project managers, civil engineers, electrical engineers. We really need the hands on deck from all disciplines to ban and sustainable and ethically to ban the 27 billion rand infrastructure program as the president has painted. To the awardees, you are embodiment of what is possible when opportunity meets determination. Your achievement is not only personal, it represents a strategic national footprint. You carry with you the responsibility to contribute towards building the infrastructure that is not only functional, but inclusive and resilient. I mean, the country is urbanizing at a faster rate. I think it's 6 years ago when the scale tilted, when 56% of the population of South Africa started to stay in a complex urban environment. So the demand for a properly designed, managed, funded, delivered infrastructure, it's here. And only people in this room and outside through the professionalization can make sure that we realize value for money and our communities realize the investment that we are making. This requires skilled people. I mean, the disasters that are happening in my hometown of Limpopo and my second hometown of KZN demands a new way of thinking in terms of how do we design, plan, manage infrastructure, because professionalism matters. As CITAM chairperson and the program director, we're going to be continue to be a strategic partner that will be there to strengthen the skills pipeline, expanding the workplace-based learning opportunities, supporting structures, candidacy, and mentorship program as part of our mandate, but also deepening the partnerships and so that we can enable meaningful and measurable impact. Let us continue to work together to ensure that the road to professionalism is not just a privilege for a few, but a clear and supported and accessible pathway for all. I sincerely want to once more congratulate all the award recipients and wish you a continued success in your professional journey. So, Dibilem Fishana, you know, if you go to a Xhosa funeral, there will be an uncle who says, Dizauban Fishana. 2 hours later, he's still on the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for not being a Muruti, Sengvala, as I close. You definitely close. Thank you so much. Mr. Nkwane, my bosses tell me to tell you this. KCBE, Siyakuthanda, we love you. We thank you. We thank you so much. And what I heard was SITA will continue. I don't know what he said after that, but they said they're going to continue, CEO. So what I love, they're going to continue the support of graduates to be professionals. And we need that. We need that support. Because many of the graduates in this country are firsts in their families. I remember I did an LLB at school, and I've always said to myself, I struggled more than the other children because they had uncles, they had aunts, they had fathers, mothers that were attorneys, that were advocates, that had seen a court. So for them, it was a little bit easier. I'm stuck at the final of my moot court, and the moot question before me, my partner's uncle actually even argued a similar case at the Supreme Court. You know, so you're sitting there and you're like, I don't have this exposure from a family perspective, so the support is not there. I have to ensure that whatever I do from my work perspective, I do it from my own hard work, and the support of family is not really there because many of us are first in our families. So that support, Mr. Nkwane, is so important, and we are so grateful for it, and we think that is the heart of transformation. But besides transformation and needing seaters to support this and support individuals to be better first and to be well supported first in their homes, infrastructure is also an important part of this. So it's important for us to also welcome and invite our partners at Sandral, because infrastructure, it shapes how we move. Like I said, we all drove here. We all probably had different occurrences with the traffic here. That's all infrastructure. Infrastructure is affected by, it affects trade, the amount of trade we're able to do at our ports or even just locally. It also connects people. Infrastructure is very good for connecting people. I can just take 1 hour to get to Johannesburg, or trains as well that help us get from point A to point B. So it's very important for us to welcome the CEO of Sandral, Mr. Reginald Demana. If you'd come forward, sir, for your word of support.
Good evening. Most of the time I prefer a roving mic because you can't see me, you know. I'm that tall. So when I'm behind this thing, sometimes people struggle to see me. But I hope you can see me, or at least hear my voice. Am I audible enough at the back, that side? No, thank you. Program Director, let me just honor a few honorables, and for the rest of us, I love you. I will stand by the protocol already established. Deputy Minister, Honorable Sihlezi Kalala, of course, the Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Ms. Carol Peel, the Honorable MEC, Mr. Mamabolo. He has deserted me since he changed portfolios. We resolved it all together. Many people don't know that. That's why you're no longer paying e-tolls. It was that gentleman there. Honorable Mayor of Tshwane, as I said, of course, the hosts, CBE, CETA, all the representatives of the various councils and other CETAs, the administrator, the CEO of the hosting partners, the public and private colleagues and professionals. I've seen some of my colleagues from Limpopo, that side, which is my home province. Recipients of recognition awards and professional registration. Of course, they don't do it alone. They are members of academia, training institutions, as well as various mentors. Sponsors and partners, esteemed guests, members of the media, if there are any, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be invited here. At some point today, I was attending a Easter road safety launch. And I called my brother there to say, I'm not looking that great, so I might come late. I think he started thinking I'm bailing out. But the program director here mentioned something about roads. In the past 3 days, from Monday to Wednesday, we were hosting the inaugural National Transport Conference with various participants across all modes of transport and logistics. So those in aviation, in maritime, in rail, in roads, were all covered there. what is key is that at the heart of all of these discussions is about infrastructure. Some of you will recall that this drive towards infrastructure as the engine of economic revitalization during COVID was really a strategy to try and inject some energy back into the economy after the struggles of COVID. So it is a key component of how this government wants to drive inclusive economic growth and job creation, how it wants to drive poverty reduction as well as tackling the high cost of life, and finally, building a capable and ethical developmental state. And this is what tonight is about. How do we, on the one hand, build a capable, ethical, and developmental state that through its many governments across three spheres, national, provincial, and municipal, can deliver the infrastructure required in partnership with those of us who are in state-owned entities. So we gather here tonight, and so the awards bear testimony, of course, to the immense contribution that the built environment plays in the economy and in the own country overall. And I must say that my brother, the Caesar, has done well to reposition the CBA as a center that coordinates all of these various councils and professionals, and to then have this event on an annual basis to celebrate excellence and to really place professionalism, professional registration as a very important aspect. Education came to a point where it was no longer fashionable. We all thought that to get a quick buck, you have to go to reality TV shows, Big Brother, tenders here and there, and all of that. But the reality is, to build an economy, we need infrastructure, we need qualified professionals. So, Program Director, I also want to really acknowledge the innovation, the quality, and the excellence that I see in the built environment. In the road space, for example, we have about the 11th longest road network in the world. 11 longest in the world. So of course, countries above us will be the much more developed countries, the US and all of that. But the 11th longest in the world. And in terms of paved, so that's some will call tar roads. We have the 18th longest in the world. So we are not doing badly on that side. But of course, there's a massive investment that is going into rail reforms, both freight as well as passenger. A lot of reforms going into the ports on the maritime side to make sure that from a transport and logistics, we are able to move goods around, both import and export. But key to all of this is the built environment. And I therefore want to say, under the theme of professional registration, I was at Vets with the CEO there. We used to stay at the same rest. So he went on, of course, to complete his training. I didn't. So I'm in awe tonight, seeing all these hundreds of people getting their professional registration. The only comfort I get is that our engineers here, our professional engineers, they don't call themselves engineer de manner. When you go out of the country, the engineers address themselves as engineer XYZ. It's a recognition that it takes many, many, many years of hard work to achieve registration. It's like advocates and doctors. They definitely want you to know that, no, I'm a doctor or this or whatever, I'm an advocate. But here in South Africa, engineers have not really pushed to be recognized as engineer Msizi and so on. So you may want to look at that, on how do we then get this lifted a step up and becomes attractive and people look forward to completing their training and being called engineer, whatever. Now, the administrator also mentioned here what the president said at the SONA, echoed by the finance minister, who then also allocated this trillion rand of investment over the medium-term framework. And of course, it's consistent with what I said was the economic revival, the ERRP plan that was initiated during COVID. But that's not where the story ends. We still require more partnership with the private sector to raise funding that must patch the gap. Some people place the infrastructure deficit in South Africa at 4 trillion rands. So if government says, I'm putting one and we need another one, the president has just announced that he's going to continue with this investment conference to raise another 1 trillion rand over the next 5 years. So those invest in SA conferences are going to continue. But to attract funders, it means that the industry itself, the sector itself, apart from the returns and all of that, funders must know that there are professionals who can deliver on projects on time, on quality, within budget and all of that. That we're not going to waste resources. And on that note of quality and quality assurance, I think we must reflect on the regulations, the policies and standards in the built environment. Given the spate of building collapses that we have seen, we really need to introspect and see where are we falling short in terms of the way we look at things. It goes further, Executive Mayor, to urban planning. Are we sacrificing development? Are we prioritizing just development and the potential to collect rates and approving development in unsuitable areas? Development in wetlands, development within the 1 to 50 or 1 in 100 year boundary lines for water. I used to say back at home that all of these people who are building next to this Njerele River, in mind, those who come to a vendor in Njerele will know. Why are we allowing these people to build next to the river? Of course, it's attractive, sounds quiet, it's flat, all of that. But the rivers, that river burst in 2000. It has again done that in the last couple of weeks. And people have lost homes and they have nowhere to go. And we are not talking small houses. Some people will have built using their retirement funds. But it starts with us in how we regulate development and what we approve to really be strict. And of course, it goes further on to you as professionals, wherever you are, not to cut corners, to make sure that the qualities are upheld, to make sure that what needs to be done according to approved plans. See a building approved here, one-story building. Before you know it, it's 5 floors up. And you wonder whether even the base structural foundation is sound. So those are some of the challenges that as you receive your registrations and qualifications, you are now going to be placed in positions of responsibility to oversee these projects on the different sites, because really the built environment, it's all construction. It starts with construction. Everything you see around has been built somewhat by someone. And it is us here that must take collective responsibility. But something also that maybe we are not aware of is construction has become one of those sectors that is very important in job creation. Recorded in construction news that in the third quarter of 2025, there was a strong rebound in construction jobs. 130,000 new jobs were created, accounting for nearly half of all the jobs created during that period. But here is the thing. For every direct job we create in construction, Treasury says there's between 4 to 7 indirect jobs that are supported. So these 130,000, you multiply by 4, between 4 and 7 of that, 700,000 to 1 million, that is supporting. It's an ecosystem. Wherever there's construction, there's of course jobs, entrepreneurial opportunities, supply chain involvement. There's a lot of things that you get to see. So construction is very important in this day and age. It has replaced mining as the biggest leverage factor for job creation. Now, but there's also another aspect. The professional engineers and others and quantity surveyors we are celebrating today, you are not the guys who are going to be pouring cement and digging holes. There are people out there that you need to supervise that currently have no jobs. They don't need to have a hell lot of qualification. They don't even need to have metric. You can teach them very quickly, learnerships, this and that, and they start working. And of course, that's the great work that the likes of CETA with a C does and pushes. We also try and do that in our projects together with the various construction companies. There's a CIDB requirement where you set aside budgets and you get people to work in these different areas. So it is one of those areas where you really can employ anyone and everyone who's willing to wake up and work. And that becomes important in a high unemployment environment. Now, let me also point out, of course, that this sector, when we talk about the jobs that were created, there's a report that indicated that Of the 30,000 jobs, this was in a recent the quarterly labor force survey. I think my team didn't mention which period. But the point is, men accounted for 90% of those jobs. So where are the women? So it's something that we must take note of. The gender equity and access to opportunities for women. More often than not, a lot of women have raised families alone. And it is those women that we must make sure we empower, especially in sectors that do not demand high qualifications. In the rural areas, building all of this infrastructure. Bring in the women, look for them, get them into the jobs. There's also another side to it. When they start earning and becoming independent, they are freed from gender, from GBV, um, they are freed from the GBV sketch, because they can now decide to leave and go start their own place. They can go home instead of staying in abusive relationships because they are not financially sustainable by themselves. So it is all these factors that a professional of today must think about. It's not the measurements and the designs. It is, how do we socially develop and not leave people behind, as the president often says, don't leave people behind. We have already spoken about infrastructure spending, and also the budget allocated to it. Of course, transport and logistics takes the biggest share, and you also have energy, water, and sanitation. And we really have to step up our game in water. We can't have another ESCO. We have resolved that, but we can't degenerate. Water is a matter of life. You can survive without energy for a few days, you can go cut wood, buy some coal, but you can't do anything without water. So it is really upon us, it's incumbent upon us, those who are also in the water environment, but also generally as we build infrastructure, how do we make sure that we try and harvest all of this stormwater that flows, whether it's in buildings, it's in roads and all of that, so that it can be collected and processed and be reused. And so that's also a challenge that a professional of today faces. We must all do this through collaboration, looking at the back of this invite, seeing all of these logos and others. That's where it starts. But we must then also reach out to private sector to come on board, which they're doing. Reach out to academia, so that those in academia, when they do research, it's research that can be applied for the benefit of society today, not research for the sake of research. In fact, some people, and the president has said this himself, that when he formed of these committees and commissions that they do, I'm talking about the ones entertaining us on TV, the ones that are working on infrastructure, the ones that are looking at different cities and all of that, your NLCC and many others. And of course, repurposing at the Department of Public Works to also include infrastructure before creation of your ESAs and all of that. It's a recognition that you can only achieve these things through collaboration. And we all need each other today. So, of course, I'm sure that my good comrades from BBC and BBC will say I have not completed the speech if I don't mention transformation in general. That transformation is important in the sector, and we have to embrace that without having to bring and increase the pool of service providers. This infrastructure will not be delivered. We just don't have enough companies that are emerging to fill up the gap. But the old companies, the 100-year-old companies are going. Sometimes you don't even know. You hear of them today, tomorrow it's under liquidation. I won't mention people's names. But you have seen these big companies in construction getting disseminated. Are we growing our own timber to plug the gaps? Or are we leaving it for the Chinese? And the Chinese, it's a known fact in the African country. I'm not speaking badly of anything. If it's not in your DNA to do something, you're not going to start somewhere. It's just not there. It's not how you work. So we have to grow our own timber if we are going to keep this sector alive. And we have to push for legislation. That Public Procurement Act, those regulations, DM, I don't know where they are hanging. Kompi, we need to push those things because they then allow us, practitioners, to then set aside things for local companies, women, youth, people living with disabilities, knowing that we are protected by legislation. So as I conclude, let me just share with you a story I just put together at the anniversary of my mother's passing. I think some 2 years ago. She passed on in 2016. But I only got to reflect about it 2 years ago. Why infrastructure matters in an ordinary rural village. Now, when electricity goes off, fortunately we are now at least out of those load shedding days, although we must address the load reduction. And of course, the minister, Ramokgopa, is very committed to that. When electricity goes off in a rural village, you also don't have coverage of your cell phone coverage. The networks disappear because they don't have batteries in their towers. So you have a communication blackout. You can't reach out to anyone. It's as simple as that. When electricity goes off, you also have water shortages. Now, on that particular day that my mother passed on, I only heard about it the following day, 24 hours after she passed on, because they couldn't call anyone. And they were sitting with a dead body in the house. They couldn't call someone to come and collect. The ambulances can't get there. And I always say, these things are linked. It's about lives and livelihoods. And our profession sits right at the intersection of life and death. And we have to keep that in mind. as we walk out with our registrations and our awards tonight. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dimana, for that personal note and ending off on a personal note. We do not take for granted that you allowed us into that personal space. Thank you so much. We've got two speakers before our keynote address by our Deputy Minister. Please bear with us. Before I carry on, I just want to check my halal dietary requirements. Did anybody need a halal serving? Is everybody sorted? If you needed halal, if you're not sorted, please raise your hands. Everybody's sorted. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We are going to move forward now, and we are going to welcome the executive mayor of Etswane. Mayor, I've double checked that the water bill is paid by CBE. I have double checked that the electricity bill has been paid, lest you blast us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, infrastructure is at the core and at the heart of service delivery. Without quality infrastructure, then executive mayors like Dr. Nasipi can't promise us the service delivery that they do at critical times like the year of 2026, where we have local government elections. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Dr. Nasipi Moyo, the executive mayor of Tswane.
I love that song. Maybe we should just play the song instead of the message of support. I am definitely not Mayor Tata Morero, so don't report to him that I was standing on his stage. I want to recognize the presence of the Deputy Minister. Thank you so much, sir, for affording me the platform to be part of this evening. I want to acknowledge the presence of the Chief Executive Mayor of Gauteng, the Mayor of Mayors. He's our boss. MEC Mamabulo. I want to acknowledge the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee. Thank you so much, Ma, for being here. The leadership of CBE, leadership of entities that are here, of sitters that are here, the various councils, the esteemed guests are here, the academics, there's private sector, and I want to say all protocols observed. And of course, I must say good evening to the residents of Tshwane that are here. I need to check so I can gauge what I say here, Deputy Minister. I don't want to say both things and then they say, no, that's not true. Minister, just yesterday, Deputy Minister, just yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone who worked with Ma Stella Stau. And he says to me, Ma Stella Stau is the reason why there was a project called Women in Construction, among others. This meeting the 70 years of our heroes who marched to union buildings. And that note, it just came as someone said, I was reflecting on something and say, you know, starting something is never easy, especially transformation. I want to congratulate DM for walking this journey. I've been following your career, whether in KZN, whether in the National Assembly. You've truly been an embodiment of transformation. You being a man, but you've truly took the work you have been doing with women, with young people, and persons with disability. I know we said we don't want to talk about quotas. There's no way we're going to achieve transformation if we don't talk about quotas, even if that's the first step. So I want to congratulate you, Deputy Minister, and the leadership of CBE for hosting this. Professionalization in local government, I don't want to be long, Zabam Fichan. Professionalization in local government, MEC would agree with me, we are struggling. We are struggling to find ethical professionals in local government. How we know is where we have a bill of assets under construction to the tune of 12 billion rands in a city that is as unequal as the city of Tshwane. And I asked, who's responsible for this 12 billion rand that now we must write off as wasteful expenditure? They would say it's consultants, the project manager, and those are the people that are in your sector. Please help us. We have a constitutional mandate to deliver basic services to the people of this country. We are now on the second year of the second 30 years in democracy. And DM, I'm saying we can't finish the way we finished the first 30 years of democracy. But for us to be able to deliver on the basic services that we are mandated by the Constitution to deliver on, we need to build infrastructure. We need to build infrastructure for the now. We don't have time where we say we will wait in the next 5 to 10 years, the MTREF, there's no such. We can't be in a country that is so unequal. And we know that one of the elements that will equalize is infrastructure. That every day it takes longer for someone who's in the informal settlements to get to work than a person who's in the suburbs. Because that person must boil water, they must put it in the bath while you are standing in the shower. We are saying infrastructure is an equalizer to improve the services of the people or improve the lives of the people of South Africa. We don't want to reduce it to say it's just about professionalization. It's what the CEO is saying, is the intention that each and every one of us who are here, we have a responsibility to deliver on the promises that were made in the Constitution. We have a target as local government. We are told by 2050, we will be having 90% of our population having moved to urban centers. We are struggling with the infrastructure we have now to cope with the current population that we have. We need the built environment to stand up and assist us. I don't know how to build innovatively a road. It's gonna come from here. But DM, it must not be about money only. The reason why we are in the mess that we are in is because we put money in front of the future of this country. Sorry, I always say city. We have a massive backlog. I appreciate the president has been leading this call. In the city of Tshwane, I must find 58 billion rand in a space for the infrastructure demand of 10 years. It's not there. Even if I find it, I need to get value for money. I can't pay 300% markup. Please stop putting money in front of the future of this country. Help us. The second pressure that we are dealing with is that we need to build the infrastructure for economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, the people who have fought for this country will be very disappointed if in 15 years' time, we will still be growing at 1% as if we are not here. What would be our sacrifice? What is our contribution? Now, what we are asking for is that the infrastructure we have been building was appropriate for that time. It's no longer appropriate now. But the ideas are sitting here. Can we please work more together so that you force us, government, because sometimes we are the weakest link, force us to change the legislation that is slowing down the growth of this country. I know that we are the problem. Our procurement system is rigid. It's not flexible enough. Now, I'm asking that we need to build infrastructure for the economy. We have sheer levels of lawlessness in this country, where a person can just build and hope for the best. And then when that building collapses, DM must go and say, Dudwini. I refuse, mna DM. Because what we are saying, there are laws for a reason. Laws are there to protect the welfare of the citizens. But we are asking that, can you help us to guide what is the shortest way to deal with the problematic buildings? The system has basically tied our hands. We don't know. But we know that any day that building can collapse and it will kill about 200 people. But we feel helpless and we are government. But you are the ones who can help us to figure out how to deal with the problematic buildings that are in our cities. But as our close to conclude, DM, DM, I serve as one of the two representatives of SALGA at the Presidential Climate Commission. I have confirmed my mandate with the president of SALGA that when I am in that platform, I will be championing for infrastructure that will respond to the needs of climate change. This whole December in the city of Tshwane, we had outages because our infrastructure could not handle the rain, because climate has changed and the impact is being felt at a household level. So I will be championing that on behalf of local government. But when we say what kind of a road material that we need to use, the ideas are gonna come from the sector, not from us. We don't know. Now, this is where we start to ask the industry to say, please start to innovate and tell us what your innovation ideas. We may frustrate you, but some of us are listening. As I conclude, we do need professionals, DM. One, I think it was a day after my election, there was a power station that burned down in Tshwane. When I went to this power station, I found engineers there. They told me they don't want to be registered because when they are registered, the city doesn't comply on the side of infrastructure. As a result, the things that you require them to do as a registered engineers, the city's infrastructure is unable to assist them to comply. I then said, who's having the conversation? Who's coming to the city of Tshwane and say, your engineers are refusing to be registered because your infrastructure is basically collapsing and you can't meet the requirements. So all I'm saying, CEO of CBE, come to municipalities, knock down the doors, because we don't open doors for things that are new easily. You need to knock down the doors of municipalities so we can help the sector. The first one is the registration, because once they are registered, even we get comfort that they will do the right thing. But when they are not registered, they are not helpful. But we have professionals who can even manage outside what the degree has given them. We want to produce engineers that know that we live in an unequal society. An engineer that can explain to Magogo what they are doing when they are busy in a substation. We need the education to be more than just the degree. We want to educate for the future of this country. So I'm grateful. I am not the representative of or the spokesperson of local government, but I'm one of the councillors that are quite passionate about what infrastructure can do for our country. And I don't think there's a shortcut, and I don't think there's a replacement for it. But what we are saying, you have a responsibility. That would be your contribution in building this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for not being a politician about that. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That is Dr. Nasipi Moyo, the Executive Mayor of Tshwane, reminding us the responsibility that we hold when we actually go out and work on infrastructure. We truly are touching lives. Beyond just infrastructure really meaning a lot to service delivery, but it's also important to have an oversight of this to ensure that everything is done responsibly, to ensure that the gap of equality that Dr. Nasipi speaks about is we're able to bridge that gap through infrastructure and the quality infrastructure in this sector. Ladies and gentlemen, to assist us with this conversation and with a message of support, please allow me to welcome the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, the Honorable Ms. Carol Phiri.
DJ, I thought you were going to say Radio Venda in the beginning. When you started with the first person to come to the podium, you played that song, and I love that. Just a bit. Is the DJ in the house? In the absence of the DJ, it's fine. Good evening to all of you, to your good selves. Let me start by standing on the protocol that has already been put before you. For me to go one-on-one, I'll end up not doing justice to those that I'll forget. But normally, in my culture, because I play oversight, we are the family of DPWI, which is Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, and it's 4 entities. I want to start by acknowledging, you know what I do, Ms. Zimbini, the chair of IDT. I want to greet you specially. I'm not sure, I did not see Agrima. I do take a roll call. Oh, you are here, Agrima SA. But we have agreed that you need to change because when you read it in my own, I don't have that accent. When I read it, it reads like agreement. So I was told it's Agrima SA. CIDB, the board, I saw board members and officials. Where are they seated, Dr. Mies? Oh, lastly, yourself, the host, CBE, led by the board. DM, you are the executive of this department. Proudly so. We are proud because you have been here even before this seventh administration. You know it better. I want to extend my greetings tonight. While seated there next to the CEO, I was introduced. I knew the name, but I did not know the person, even though I'm a comrade. The MEC. Even when you were coming here, I was told, oh, there's the MEC. I want to pass my special greetings. What man? Ndi tshi ḓa khavho ndi na zwine nda khou ṱoḓa u humbela. Mkhaya, re a lotsha. Re sa dutse mola, go tsene the entourage, ba re tswa ko Swaziland. A ke tsebe go bolela Seswati, mara I just want to extend my sincere greetings as an oversight player. We saw your presence. With those few words and the 9 councils that are under CBE, I want to say good evening to your good selves. Maybe let me start by lobbying DM. Every week when I go home, I pass the tunnel of Makado, between Makado and Musina. Vodemana, a Sandral, that tunnel is dripping. On Monday, there was no heavy rain, but when I entered the tunnel, it's heavily dripping. Anytime, there can be a disaster. I putted the motion, actually not the motion, the statement in Parliament, as you'll be discussing with your minister, please consider that route. It's an N1. The Musina Makado Special Economic Zone depend on that route. So I want to lobby you to look into that. I want to also lobby SITA. That look, it's not good, but I'm not intimidated. Those who come to my portfolio, they will tell you, not easily. But one day I'll invite you and you'll find me there. I want to lobby you with programs of your sitters. Do they bring the value of money, the monitoring system on its own, I'm tempted a bit to respond to few speakers, including yourself, that this country, when the president spoke in 2019, when I first became a member of parliament, he said to us, there will be this country, including the minister, which currently is the DM, seated with us. They said this country must become a construction site. And the construction site, it's only done by professionals. Indeed, today is not the day of politics, but we are calling upon yourself and the professionals and your programs in SITA that make it a point. Even the monitoring system must be on point. Ours as legislatures will do our part. We are aware, a worship, Major, what's one? There is a gap between us as a national, provincial, and yourself on the Salga level of not coordinating each other. That's why we have a crisis of the collapse of this major building. I told the DM and the chair of chairs when the collapse of the building here in Omonde, when they said I must rush and come and see, I said, I'm not an inspector and I'm not an engineer. Whether I come to the scene, it won't make any difference. But the difference will be made by the professionals. The difference must be made starting from yourself in the municipalities. Yes, you have said, you have raised that engineers, they don't want to register. The gap that we are seeing, that we're gonna have a joint committee with COCT, is the issue of upper limits. Why they don't want to register? You only attract those who are not professionals. It's because we have noticed the gap of the upper limits. We are aware. And we are calling upon yourself as Salga to also bring a proposal of the legislation. Yes, CBE, you are bringing a bill. We are waiting for it. DM as the executive fast track the matter. I'm waiting for it in Parliament. Before the end of this administration, allow us to process that bill so that it can become an act and do away with this issue of collapse of building. Why the infrastructure that is not of good quality? The crisis of water in South Africa, it's not on all provinces. You must listen to me carefully. In Limpopo, we don't have a crisis of water. We have a crisis of infrastructure. We've got water, but the infrastructure that must be directed by professionals, put a proper infrastructure to channel into household, it's a problem. Where I'm from, there's Limpopo River, it overflows right through the year, but there's no water in our household. The problem is infrastructure. There's Nandoni Dam that anytime it can even blast. What you were referring to, even the planning of the town, allowing our people, yes, to build in the midstreams, in the floodline areas, it's a challenge. Therefore, yes, I agree with you. Let's call upon professionals to be more professional, but strengthen your monitoring system. I am a oversight player, but I'm not a professional engineer. I can't do that. That's why I refused when they said I've been to buildings that have collapsed. I went for an oversight, called on the community of George, families of the bereaved. I'm a human being, it traumatizes us. It traumatized me personally to listen to the stories. And you know what is the main problem with that building? It's 500 meters away from the municipality. The office of the town planner, the office where they approve building certificate, they just look at the window and see that building. But the building is just colored right across. We are acknowledging that there's a gap of legislation. But allow me today, because we are here to celebrate and be proud of the professional engineers or the family of professions. We're going to celebrate, or we are celebrating approximately 5,000 practitioners being conferred professional registration across 9 built environment disciplines. We are reminded of critical role of the parliamentary oversight in strengthening governance, professionalism and accountability. Improved built environment professionals can also make a construction site across the country. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that the built environment sector continues to strive and contribute to our nation's broader objective. Yes, indeed, we commend yourselves, CBE, for its unwavering commitment to elevate professional standard, but also inspire a new generation of practitioners to uphold the values of excellence and integrity. Dr. Mieza, when we speak of young professionals, the program of SITA, those who are saying it's learnership, internships of professionals, we have identified and we are sure and certain in some of private public institution, when you are supposed to give these young professionals a proper experience, you reduce them to tea makers. You reduce them to be photocopies. Those who are doing only photocopy machines, they operate. You don't take them where it's supposed to be. That's why, Germukaya, do you go down and monitor your program? Right in the precincts of Parliament, I had a complaint. 9, if not 10, Dr. Mieza is away. I called him. We had young professionals, they were reduced to do something that they're not supposed to do. And when you have to register them, you ask them, how many hours? What is it that you did for you to qualify? None of those. But are we really saying they are professionals? At the end of that term, you said you are giving them. Do they become real professionals? Or we are just saying it because you have given them until the time? On that note, seriously so, we are calling upon yourself to do justice to these young professionals because they are the future. To the awardees or the honorees, I extend my heartfelt gratitude. Your dedication and hard work are paving the way for a brighter future for South Africa. As you step into our roles as registered professionals, remember that you are not just building structures, you are building communities, opportunities, and hope. Let us continue to work together to ensure that the built environment sector remain a cornerstone of our nation's development. Through collaboration, innovation, and professionalism, we can achieve the vision of prosperous and sustainable South Africa. I want to take to this opportunity and call again to say we are calling upon yourself to be together with us. The issue of me, myself, and Dr. Mieza, together with the minister, we have agreed that we'll want to lobby DM. The issue of collapse of building, let it be a crisis. We must go and make it a serious engagement, starting from municipalities. Her worship was talking to us and telling us it must start with building a house. In rural areas, we just go to Maoshis and request land. What you build, what happened later, it's none of our business. But when there's a disaster, we are called upon to run. It becomes a disaster of government. So we want us not to be professionals aside, government aside. Let us be one and become one South Africans to avoid those kind of challenges. On the national road, Bodemana, I don't know, maybe I'll be misquoted. You pass today in a national road, there's no pothole. The minute it rains tonight, tomorrow when you come back, you find a bath tap. Is it a poor quality? Is it part of professionalism? What are we saying? But let me leave it there. I don't want to put a bad insinuation, but it's a problem. We have a serious problem on our roads. Besides talking about the provincial ones and others, as we come also, we are mistaken even in the provinces because the department are not called the same nationally. Some believe, in particular, let me speak about Limpopo. In my space as a politician, when I go to a political meeting, when they speak about a road, they say, there is the chairperson of Public Works and Infrastructure. But in Parliament, it's Honorable Slamulel. It's not myself. So I'm raising this because there is a serious challenge. We don't know whether it's the fraternity that is starting with CIDB, which are contractors that we have contracted for certain years to maintain Sanral, but we are observing that. A rain that can rain within one night, it makes a bathtub. Now, I don't agree, but I'm not a professional. So I'm just putting that disclaimer to yourself. Please talk to your contractors, talk to your professionals. These are our monies. This is state money. It can't be spent recklessly. There's a lot that government must do. In those few words, it's a message of support. DM, I can take the podium because I'm used to chair, but allow me to sit down and say, we are proud. We are really proud of yourself, those who have registered, and we are saying all the best and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Honorable Piri. I told you, Ngati oversight. I told you, Ngati accountability. So you were warned before she came on stage. I hope we were taking notes. Thank you so much, Honorable Piri. It gives us a great sense of calm, knowing that there are people like yourself in Parliament that are asking the questions that we are asking. I mean, potholes are having us. So also on radio, we've invited some professionals, in fact, from CBE to come and explain to our listeners how potholes are created and what the problem is, just to try and get the information out there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on. There is still entertainment, there is still dinner, so please bear with us. Our last speaker in our keynote address for this evening. Leadership in the built environment requires more than vision. It calls for experience, accountability, and the ability to translate policy into infrastructure that changes lives. Our next speaker brings with him a depth of public service and leadership, with a clear focus on advancing infrastructure development as a driver of economic growth and social transformation in South Africa. At a national level, this responsibility carries the weight of ensuring that development is not only delivered, but delivered inclusively, sustainably, and with impact. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome the Deputy Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mr. Sihle Zikalala.
Thanks, colleagues. Let's be seated. Thank you.
Allow me to do two things today. I want to do two things. I wish or request to do two things. One, to appreciate the strategic partnership we are building as the department. But two, and that will be the last, to congratulate professionals who were gathered to celebrate today. And therefore, in appreciating this partnership as the first task, I want to thank the program director for steering the ship quite well. Nomfundo, you are one Mamkize who differs from others. Those of us who knows more Mamkize, you saw when she was introducing me, I stood up. Ordinarily, when people who do introduction takes time, I normally comes to the stage. But when she was doing introduction, I stood up and sat down because Umam Kiza, they don't speak a lot. They just say, I will beat you up. And thanks for teaching us love and for being a program director rather than being a speaker. And I think you deserve a big hand of applause. The chairperson of the Council for Built Environment, Ms. Amelia Mchali, thanks for hosting us. We received the message. And to all members of CPE, we thank you for being here. We also thank you for the work you are doing as the CPE. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Ms. Carol Piri, and the spouse, my brother, thanks for being with us. We are accountable to you. The MEC, Mr. Mamabulo, your presence here represents a number of MECs who should have been here and will only be with us on Thursday and Friday in the MINMEC. You are always a pillar, and indeed we applaud Gauteng for innovation and providing leadership and solutions even to the entire country. I thank the presence of the Mayor of Tshwane, Dr. Nasipi Moya. Thanks. And thanks for your words. Indeed, we must adapt. But the adaptation must leave no one behind. Your message prompted me to ask your representative in our MINMEC whether it's coming to our next meeting, because local government is an integral part of the national development. The National Development Plan should talk direct to issues of our municipalities, empowering our local people. We remain committed to the journey started by the late Minister Sitau. And this year we will have a number of activities to commemorate the work she did, including the establishment of the South African Women in Construction SAWIC. We want to thank all board members of the CPE and their professional bodies, presidents, chairpersons. The work you are doing is great in regulating the industry. By the way, CPE is not here on its own. They are here together with entities that are part of the public works and infrastructure. And we want to appreciate the presence of Ms. Zimbini Hills, the chairperson of the IDT, who is here with us, together with the Deputy Chairperson of the CIDP, Professor Susan Bullion, who's here with us, as well as the Chair of Agreement SA, Dr. Machinze. I also want to thank our strategic partners. And when you say strategic partners, those are people who are not normally within your own organogram, but you strategically partner with them to achieve specific objectives. And for that, we thank SITA, the administrator, Opa, Kwane. Thank you, and thanks for the remarks you made. CEO of Sandral, and thanks for the commitment, Mr. Tamane, on transformation. The call for regulations on the implementation of the public transformation, especially the implementation of the Public Procurement Act, is fair. We accept it. We have been calling on the CPE to work on making our contribution as the construction sector on how we take forward the implementation of that bill, including the set aside for vulnerable groups. I thank the presence with the greatest respect of Eswatini Construction Industry Council, the entire board, led by the chairperson, Mr. Sandile Makubu, and with great respect, I request that they stand up and we give them the big round hand of applause. Thank you. We do so as we affirm that South Africa will not prosper when its neighbors are left behind. I'm not on my own. There are those who are really in charge of implementation. We have our CFO here, Mr. Stolle, Mr. Sibande, who is the head of the property trading management entity. We have our DDGs. I've seen Ms. Kafile and Ms. Abrams. But more importantly, I want to thank council members of all our entities who are here, but pay a greatest respect to the officials and the senior management in our entities and the department. My last task is to congratulate the young professionals who are celebrating today. In 2024, or when I start, let me start from the beginning. In 2023, when we introduced the Built Environment Award, the program recognized a total of 2,978 candidates. That was 2023. In 2024, we progressed, but we faced a decline. And that decline went down to 2,386. We're grateful that in 2025 we've picked up and we celebrate and recognize 2,600 candidates that have progressed toward professional registration, and that is a 30% increase. This increase signifies a renewed momentum in strengthening professional pipeline and reflect the collective effort of the professional councils, employees, mentors, and institutions. And when we say mentors, we must be emphatic. It's not only government, it also includes the private sector. And therefore, I want to applaud CPE for introducing a recognition of the best performers from the private sector. And I want to thank you for realizing a need to look on the state organs and recognize those that are performing well. The theme of this gathering today, and I quote, Road to Professional Registration, celebrating professional excellency in building resilience and inclusive South Africa, close quote, talk to the trust of the objectives of the seventh administration. The seventh administration has given itself a task to implement a national development plan. Infrastructure development remain one of the key drivers of economic growth, job creation, improved service delivery, and social development in the country. And therefore, from the construction of roads and bridges to sustainable human settlements, schools, hospitals, energy infrastructure, the built environment sector plays a critical role in enabling that development. There can be no doubt that infrastructure delivery is only as efficient as professionals who play, design, and manage these projects. And therefore, there are those people, when you see the road constructed, there are those who are behind, who design and ensure that there are proper plans, who quantify even the material, and there are those who look even on the quality of the material. And therefore, this built environment should be recognized in totality. But a capable and built environment sector required skilled, competent, and ethical, well-grounded professionals. And I'm sure colleagues who spoke earlier from the sector have highlighted this point. Professionalization remains central to building a capable state and a capable construction and property sectors. As government, we continue to work with the Council for Built Environment and their professional bodies to ensure professionalism in the industry. The built environment sector is critically faced with a number of complex challenges. These include rapid urbanization, infrastructure backlog, disasters, the need for climate resilience, and the ongoing imperative to transform and diversify the professions. Research tells us that, one, by 2050, the 50% or more of our population will be in urban areas. It further says more than 50% of those will be young people. And therefore, in our planning, we must look on all of those issues holistically. We look to professionals in the built environment to be at the forefront of turning the vision of turning South Africa into a construction site into reality. And without professionals, we will just make this statement rhetorical. Without you, the South African economy will continue to face the subdued growth and the deepening levels of poverty and inequality. We therefore call on young professionals to play their role. We also want to register and emphasize this to the CPE once more, that registration of professionals is not an isolated achievement. It should encompass the development and the integrity that is required. Going forward, we don't need any professional associated with corruption. We don't need any professional associated with a building that collapsed. And therefore, we must build in quality and ensure that we preserve this world for the future. Given our past history of entrenched discrimination and exclusion of majority of South African, transformation and inclusion within the built environment is a non-negotiable. We must enforce transformation guided by legislation and guided by interventional programs that aims to empower the vulnerable sectors in particular. Transformation is not only a matter of equity, it's also essential to ensure that sector benefit from the full spectrum of talent and perspective that exist within our country. As we celebrate achievements of those who have attained professional registration today, we are also reminded of the responsibility that accompanies professional status. Built environment professionals are and should be responsible to ensure that wherever they are a reflection of the industry, in the private sector and in government. And that's why we are calling for a speed implementation of the CBE Amendment Bill that will ensure that the regulations that we apply in the public sector are applied across, even in the private sector. We want to commend the Council for Built Environment for its continued leadership in promoting professional excellency and strengthening the regulatory environment of the built environment professionals. We congratulate all the professionals who are being recognized tonight. Your achievement is a testament to your dedication, perseverance, and commitment to excellency. May you continue to uphold the highest standard of professionalism and contribute meaningfully to the building of a resilient, inclusive, and prosperous South Africa. In my own life, I always define professionalism as entailing three imperatives. One, efficiency. You must always be efficient in whatever you are doing. Plan, execute, and implement. But be effective. Implement on time within a given budget. And lastly, trustworthy. Be trusted and implement and ensure that you are not wasteful, but ensure that whatever you are given is utilized. Any allocation is utilized purposefully for the development of our country. With those words, whether few or not, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the registered professionals we are celebrating today. And this should not be the end, but an ongoing program that will see many young women entering the sector, that will see even people with disability entering this sector, that will see people from rural areas and township into this sector. I thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Disability 360, which means an inclusive environment country for all. Right, so we've learned tonight about how infrastructure shapes all our lives, impacts all our lives, and all I can tell you is that there's only one thing that reminds us why life is worth living. I think that's music. Allow me to please welcome Zawadi and her band. We're going to break for about 20 minutes. Please feel free to mingle and network, take a little break, and then we'll carry on with the awards after the performance by Zawadi. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can just encourage that we stay indoors. Obviously, you can go outside for a toilet break, but if we can just stay within this vicinity for the performance. Thank you.
check. Sobole la ven. Sobole la. Chasso check. Chasso check. Ufake lapha ya. Okay. Guys, you hear something? Are you hearing something? Mute.
Give now, 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 give now. Yabana, 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 ay 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 ay. Yabana, 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 oh Yabana, oh Yabana, oh Yabana, oh Yabana, oh. Thank you. She she Nansi piyeza waphila madoda. Nansi piyeza waphila madoda. Nansi impiyeza waphila madoda. Nansi impiyeza waphila madoda. Nansi impiyeza. Nansi impiyeza. Mawubona inwele zami zincome ngoba zinhle. Mawubona inwele zami zincome ngoba zinhle. Mawubona ibala lami lincome ngoba lihle. Mawubona ibala lami lincome ngoba lihle. Ibala lami lihle, amabele mahle, ifika yami inhle, isinqo sami sihle, uhamba kwami kuhle, isiso sami sihle, ibala lami lihle, mina ngintsudo futhi ngingode. Engamuhle, awubona inwele zami zincome ngoba zinhle. Ayinwele zami, inwele zami zincome ngoba zinhle. Ayinwele zami, mawubona ibala lami lincome ngoba lihle. Awibala lami, mawubona isishwapha sami sincome ngoba sihle. Ibala lami, oh lihle, amabele yami-ke mahle, Oh, ifika yami, oh, inhle, oh, futhi nomhlaba wami, oh, muhle, oh, isimo sami asihle, oh, nesishopha sami-ke asihle, oh, imfundo yami, oh, mihle, awu, igwebu lami, awu, lihle, oh, uphethelwami, oh, lonke, ayibo, izinkomo zami, oh, sihle, ayibo, umncomo lwami-ke, awu, muhle, awu, bathi amehlo wami, oh, mahle, mina ngiyinsuku futhi ngimuhle. Mina ngimuhle, 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 ngimuhle. Ngimuhle nebala lami, ibala lami likhulu. Ngimuhle nebele zami, noma ngayifaka nesandla.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to Zimbabwe. What shall we do? What shall we do? What shall we do? Today, what shall we do? What shall we do? What shall we do? Today, what shall we do? Oh, today, what shall we do? Oh, what shall we do? Oh, today, what shall we do? Hello, what shall we do? Oh, Tori sense, what shall we do? Tingadi senja. Hey, what shall we do? Oh, Tori sense janina. You know what I say, Bera kana honela wo ukatina wa. You know what I say, kutendera ufu mama wako. Oh, kana honela wo ukachiwana. Ajata papa makume wadana pasina raramo. Oh, kana honela wo ukachiwana. Listen, why what shall we do? I'll send some Johnny. Oh, sorry. What shall we do? I'll send some Johnny. Sorry. What shall we do? Send some Johnny. What shall we do? Oh, sorry. What shall we do? Oh, today, what shall we do? Since what shall we do? What shall we do? At the sins and Johnny. What shall we do? Oh, today. What shall we do? Sins and Johnny. What shall we do? Oh, today. Sins and what shall we do?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sins and Johnny.
if we can just kindly make our way to our
What
seats.
shall we do? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's Zawadi and her band. Another round of applause. I'm just going to give everybody about 3 minutes to settle down before we carry on with our awards for this evening, and then we can move on to dinner.
Usupaga mesisanda sakushayo mkako Utema mdogola wakifunu mfazi Saa uchiga kupima uzume lingani yako Matuta Masitoni kwa bobo betu Sitlone kwa mama betu na tati betu Sitlone baba fazi betu Basa kelika Basi pele telezika Nani abesipazana Nolifani abesilisa Nikumbulu kuti ngapande kwabo nikwazi pila Kanti nathi abantu besilisa Sikhumbulu ukuthi ngapande kwenu asikwazi kupila Basitlone baba family. He's gotta keep it in mind. A woman ain't property. Just like you and me, she's got feelings. When she tell you no, show her the courtesy. Oh, my daughter, knocking down. A woman got a right to be. A woman is an entity, she's got a right to be. A woman got a right to be. Oh, my daughter, knocking down. A woman got a right to be. Give her freedom and equality, she's got a right to be. A woman got a right to be. Ulazi nkati siyajika izinto nemiqondo mayijike kusasandleni sethu madoda masihlonipheni abaphathi bethu babo. Oh, madoda nansi indaba bakhala kabuhlungu nje bakhaliswa yithi. Awu madoda nansi indaba. Give her freedom and equality, she's got the right to be. Oh, madoda nansi indaba. A woman is an entity, she's got a right to be. Oh, madoda nansi indaba. Give her freedom and equality, she's got the right to be. Woman got a right to be. Woman got a right to be.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, please bear with us. We're going to move on to the second phase of our evening. It is a bit nerve-wracking. I was at the SAFTAs last week, so I'm being triggered, DM. So yes, this is also your SAFTAs night to all the professionals. Congratulations to everyone who was nominated. Congratulations to everyone who is going to be awarded this evening. To award our first two categories, which will be the youngest registered professional across all categories, as well as the oldest registered professional across all categories, I'd like to welcome on stage our Deputy Minister, Honorable Mr. Sihle Zigalala, as well as our Honorable Chairperson, Ms. Carol Phiri, to assist in the awarding. Ms. Phiri. Thank you so much, DM. Honorable Phiri, is she still with us? She's coming. Okay. So whilst our honorable is making her way up, just a few house rules. So we've got one award on stage. So whoever wins tonight is gonna come up, accept this award, which will be with our DM, and then there will be a certificate, which will be with Miss Phiri or whoever will be accompanying the DM at that time. Please do not leave with the award or the certificate. It's just to make the proceedings faster tonight. So yours is to come on stage, take a picture with our esteemed guests, and then move back to your seats. I promise you, at the end of the night, outside, there is your certificate of recognition with your name, and it's approved. And there's an award for you there. This is just to make everything a little bit faster this evening. So we're going to call your name. I'm going to ask kindly that everybody lines up just before the stairs in a line. And one by one, we're going to have the first recipient take a picture with the Deputy Minister as well as Honorable Phiri with the certificate fake certificate and fake award, but there's a real award, real certificate at the end of the night outside. Are we all clear? Thank you so much. All right, so the first category this evening, I'm going to call these recipients, they are the youngest registered professionals. The youngest being 21 years old, and the oldest youngest being 29 years old. A round of applause. You know, Tina Saslindoki get 21st. We weren't looking to be professionals at 21. So this is amazing. So I'm going to call everyone in this category. Kindly come line up at the front, and then one by one, you'll move behind me and take a picture with our esteemed guests. The first recipient, Kagan Seabell, Ethan Pillay, Siphelele Mdiya, Sithembile Mbuyisa, Asive Lomtu, Xotliso Mhlambe, Ruan Lubing, my apologies, Ayandiswa Noxolo Buthelezi, Sthembiso Madela, Isaac Zolofelo Tabane, or Tabane, Arnold Matere, Azande Mziligazi Kumalo. Ladies and gentlemen, these are 2026 recipients of the youngest registered professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be an injustice to not mention the councils that these young registered professionals are from. Kagan Seabell, Ethan Pillay, Siphelele Mdiya, Sithembile Mbuyisa are all from ECSA. A round of applause. Asive Lomtu, Xotliso Mhlambe are from SACP CMP. Ruan Lubing is from SAC QSP. Ayandiswa Noxolo Buthelezi from SAC LAP. Sthembiso Madela from EAP ASA. Isaac Tolufelo Tabane as well as Arnold Matara from SAC PLAN. Oh, you guys are alive, welcome. And finally, Azande Mziligazi Kumalo from SAGC. Final round of applause. Thank you so much. We now move on to the second category of the oldest registered professionals. I will be calling out the council as well as the name and surname of the recipient. The youngest, oldest registered professional this evening is 45 years old, and the oldest registered professional this evening is 79 years old. Indeed, a dream deferred is not a dream denied, ladies and gentlemen. Our first recipient this evening of the oldest registered professionals from ECSA, Selwyn Jackson. Our second recipient from SACP CMP, Alfred Agata. I just Zulufied that surname. My apologies if it's not Zulu. The third recipient of the oldest registered professionals from SAC QSP, Sarojini Mudli. Followed by Sakile Mapumulo from SACLAP. This evening, we also congratulate Saburi Okesanjo from EAPA-SA. We also celebrate Dr. Tsoriyo Wendy Wadzandai. And the doctor is from SACPLAN. And lastly, in this category, we congratulate Jacek Marian Schubert from SAGC. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the Deputy Minister as well as the Honorable Piri for bringing out those awards out for our first two categories. A round of applause for them. To give out the next awards, I'd like to please call up ahead, up front, the CEO, Dr. Msizi Mieza, to assist in giving out these awards, as well as MEC, Mr. Jacob Mamabolo. All right. We are going to do the next three categories. I'm going to ask that the registrars please come up forward to also receive these. So the award category that we're giving out next is the Professional Council with a substantial number of registered female professionals. We spoke about transformation tonight. It was apparent and it came up in every single speech of all our dignitaries today. And this evening, the council that takes this is the South African Council for the Quantity Surveying Profession. Louder than that, come on, it's transformation. As we move on with transformation, our Deputy Minister mentioned people or persons with disabilities. The next category is for the Professional Council with a substantial number of registered persons with disabilities. And this award goes to the South African Council for Quantity Surveying Profession. Mina ngiyababona abantu abayiphilayo i-transformation. I see people who don't talk shop, Minister. They live it. They do this thing. It's not talk shop. Well done. Thank you so much. The next category is for the professional council with a substantial number of young registered professionals. And this award goes to Engineering Council of South Africa. Congratulations to Engineering Council of South Africa. May you continue to give opportunity to young people. Our unemployment is desperate for it. So thank you so much for remembering us, for remembering the young people of this country and ensuring that they're at the heart of your growth. I'm going to ask at this point for CEO to sit down. You are still there, MEC. I didn't get enough time with you on stage, MEC. Joining the MEC in giving out the next awards, I'd like to please call upon us the Honorable Chairperson of the CBE, Miss Amelia Mjali. We also see transformation at CBE. Thank you so much. Let us move on to our next awards. The next category is the category Engineering Firm that employs candidates enabling professional registration. These are the awardees this evening. Avenir Holdings, Idwala Cabinets, Ingerope, South Africa. This is for the category of the engineering firm that employs candidates enabling professional registration. These are these firms, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Can I please ask Mr. Ngwane to come forward to also assist in giving out the next award? Chairperson, thank you so much. I'm going to give you a short break. Mr. Ngwana. Okay, So we won't have Mr. Nkwane for us for now, but we do have Miss Moleboheng Ntache. Thank you so much. She will also be assisting us in giving out the next award. The next category is for the category of the construction firm that promotes occupational health and safety, the best safety program. And these are the awardees. KAEX Holdings, Praise Occupational Health, Power China, Sino Hydro South Africa, Qualicon Construction. And those are our winners for tonight for the construction firm that promotes occupational health and safety. Thank you so much. Thank you to Ms. Moleboheng. Mr. Nkwane has arrived. So if you could join us on stage in giving out the next category to our recipients. We want you to see where your money goes. MSC is giving Mr. Nkwane an award for being the best dancer. There you go. Next year we know who we can get for entertainment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We move on to our next category. The next category is for the professional practice with the best training program. And the winners are two councils. The first one goes to Avenue Holdings. And the second one, Enumerate Consulting Quantity Surveyors. I'm not gonna let her off the stage because she just told me that I'm Englishifying the name. It's a French name. It's a French name. Like, please help us pronounce this name.
Avenir Holdings. And the word avenir means future.
I love that. I love that she whispered to me how to pronounce it because I was mispronouncing her vision or their vision, right? The vision is future. So if I mispronounce it, I'm sending them elsewhere out of their vision. So thank you so much, much appreciated. Avenue Holdings. Yeah, I dropped out of French in grade 9. Yes, the next category, ladies and gentlemen, is for Best Employer Candidacy Program for Professional Registration in the Private Sector. And the following companies are the recipients: Avenue Holdings, City of Cape Town, City of Tshwane. But wait, there's more in this category, ladies and gentlemen. Also receiving for Best Employer Candidacy Program for Professional Registration in the Private Sector, Independent Development Trust, KB Kemwe Projects, KB Kemwe Projects, Osmond Lange Architects, Zutari or Zutari? Zutari. Thank you so much. Mr. Nkwane, you may sit down, sir. in your place, can I please call up again the chairperson of the CBE, Ms. Amelia Mjali? Thank you so much. Apparently his Smile Data bundles are exhausted. He just wants to dance. Oh, that is so fun. That was fun. Thank you so much. He's burnt out all his bundles. But thank you so much to the chairperson for being available. Did you also qualify by being a dancer to be up here? Just a pretty smile. Okay. We're going to move on to our next category. The next category is for architectural firms that employs candidates. And the recipients this evening are MK and Associates, Development Consultancy. MK and Associates, yes. Sir. Thank you so much. Moving forward to our next category. Quantity surveying firm that employs candidates enabling professional registration. And the recipients for this award is Nonko Unjona and Associates Quantity Surveyors. She's here, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, ladies. The next category is the property valuation firm that employs candidates enabling professional registration. This award goes to Magna Corp project managers. Thank you so much to Magna Corp project managers for your employment of candidates. Our next category is government department that implemented infrastructure projects timelessly at a national or provincial level. And this award goes to the Department of Water Sanitation and Sanitation. Thank you so much. Congratulations again to the Department of Water and Sanitation for implementing infrastructure projects timelessly. That's very important, especially to me as a voting citizen. The next category is for the project management firm that employs candidates, enabling professional registration. And this award is received by two companies. The first one, Avenue Holdings, as well as Zutari. We should have just pulled up a chair for you, ma'am, on stage. A round of applause. We are now at the last category that I'll be announcing tonight. The other categories will be announced by the CEO of CBE this evening. The last category is for state-owned entity that implemented infrastructure projects timelessly. The recipients of these awards, it's the Independent Development Trust. One more. As well as the University of Mpumalanga. I started at the bottom, but I'm ending right on top. No one can hold me back. I'm never gonna stop. Your love is all I need to see me through my day. Come closer, baby. Let me chase the blues away. Ain't nothing stopping us. We're reaching for the top. Ain't nothing stopping us. We're reaching all over. Ain't nothing stopping us. Ooh, baby. Ain't nothing stopping us from taking love and higher, higher, higher. Oh, baby, higher, higher. Let me take me and higher, 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 higher and higher, higher, higher and higher. Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our award ceremony. That is my part. A round of applause to all the recipients tonight. I'm just thinking that if your children knew how you guys are when you get awards, they should be there taking pictures of you like you take of them. It's the cutest thing, but it makes us all human. Thank you so much. But I'm not going to do the closing remarks tonight. We still have dinner. We still have entertainment. So please hang 10 and stay with us till about 10 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, to close off such an amazing, wonderful evening, please help me welcome the CEO of the Council of the Built Environment, Mr. or Dr. Msizi Mieza.
So you're not correct.
Yeah.
Good evening, colleagues. Please don't be alarmed. I'm not going to deliver a speech. I'm trying to gather my thoughts and the sequencing of what I have to say. So let me start by acknowledging the program director, Mamkize, for handling our show with dignity and professionalism. And thank you very much, ma'am. And we appreciate you taking time out and be with us. So you took a chance on us. And secondly, I want to recognize the Deputy Minister in his absentia for leading us for the past 3 years. We have been with him since 2023 on this journey when he challenged us to say, what are the things that you guys do to encourage professionals beside a stick to get them to register? So we came up with this idea of recognizing professionals in the industry or in the sector. But obviously, we don't do this work alone. Hence, we recognize the partners in the industry as well as regulatory bodies that we work with. So I want to recognize Zigalala for his guidance and leadership. I do also want to acknowledge the chairperson of the portfolio committee, at least Chair Memchali. We don't have to explain much. We'll just say as per that event, so you know what happened. We do get a grilling from the chair whenever we appear at the portfolio committee on the work that we do as a sector in creating opportunities for young people, especially women, in the built environment. So I want to acknowledge Mem Charlie, Mayor Piri, for the support. I do also want to highlight one of the important event that award that we want to issue to someone tonight. I do know that Mem Charlie, when Ms. Snowy was delivering your keynote speech, you did recognize Prof. Naidu as a recipient of the Chairman's Award or Chairperson's Award. We also have an award that we offer from an administrative point of view. And this year, the award has been bestowed to Ms. Refilwe Buthelezi. Let me add PRN. Ms. Buthelezi is not a mother only. She's also a professional, a shining torch bearer for young women in the industry. She's currently leading the Federation of African Engineering Organization in Africa. She's also serving in various boards in the country. We want to congratulate Ms. Buthelezi on her remarkable achievement and the work that she continues to do for the profession. Obviously, we accept that due to her busy schedule, she could not be with us, but please join me in congratulating Ms. Buthelezi for being recognized as the ambassador for the Built Environment 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, as it's been stated earlier by the minister or deputy minister, that besides the awards that we received by colleagues today, we are also recognizing about 5,000 practitioners who have added a PR behind their names. For us, what it means, you now possess not only a qualification, but you have demonstrated experience. You've been tested by your peers that you're indeed competent. You can now run projects independently. You can now supervise others. You can also mentor others. And I think that's really what this recognition is about. It's about acknowledging the hard work you put in and the long hours and the dedication. At times, it can be a very lonely journey. That is why we recognize you tonight. However, I do want to anchor what Deputy Minister said, that this is a calling. It is a calling because the work that we do touches society. It also impacts society. So what we do must always remain accountable, ethical, and remember why we chose a profession called built environment, and we must always do right for society. It is about recognizing potential and you become a professional. That's really what it's about. Because some of us entered the profession by default. We did not know why we end up in this profession. And I'm sure if I were to ask with a show of hand, how many of you knew exactly why you chose this career? you'll find a plethora of reasons. And you are here today and you are being recognized. And I want to recognize you. Now, let me do what I was asked to do, vote of thanks. I was inspired by the microphones. Apologies for that. I do want to ensure that I recognize my council members led by Mem Chali for the work that you do, the support that you give us consistently. We don't have all the answers as CPE. We rely on the input from the industry. We'll differ on some of the approaches we take as an organization, but I think standing here on behalf of the council, we do mean well. And at times, it's a thankless job. At times, it's not rewarding as we want it to be, but seeing you today, it is a worthwhile effort that we put in long hours, Chairperson, and the fights that we have about different issues, and we appreciate you, Chair. The second one I want to recognize are my colleagues from the professional bodies, the registrars and the CEOs, the academic institutions, municipalities, provincial government, and state-owned enterprises. Yes, they say we don't praise a fish for swimming, but I do think at times we must pause and recognize what we do and appreciate each other, because this is a calling indeed, and it's a thankless job. So for us to recognize you, as well as colleagues that we work in this industry trying to professionalize, we want to acknowledge the work that you do. Hence, SAQSP today received 2 awards. It's a sign that we recognize you amidst that note that you gave me. Mpezeko. Mpezeko knows. Chairperson, I also want to echo the words of the Deputy Minister by recognizing our partners from SADC, the Swaziland Construction Industry Leadership Council led by the Chairperson. We really appreciate you taking time out to be with us tonight. Thank you very much. Siyabonga kakhulu. Our keynote speaker, Babu Temane, your words touched most of us. Your story that you shared with us, I do think that is really why most of us are in this profession, is to respond to such issues that you raised. It is a personal journey, colleagues. All of us were impacted by the work that is done by professionals in the sector. And I think, Bob Demane, your speech, I don't think it was technical. You didn't speak about road curb inlets and a number of things that you guys do, the excavation. You spoke to us as professionals on what it means to have this PR title next to our names. For that, we appreciate you, sir. I think the last 2 points I want to raise, it comes from me, so please don't attribute it to my council members. I do want to acknowledge the ladies. You look beautiful tonight. You don't believe me? You look beautiful, eh? So I'm sure my colleagues can agree, eh? There is talent. And lastly, Chairperson, I do want to thank the CPE staff members. I'm sure you've seen them walking up and down. Koketsuma Mela, KB, Mpume, Sina, Martin, Percy, as well as the executive of CPE, Tembagazi, Zoe. I don't see Umar, but that's the team that work day and night in putting this event together. I want to acknowledge you, colleagues, and thank you for the hard work. I have decided to give you day off tomorrow. I will see you on Monday, 7:30. Program Director, let me close by thanking you once again, our guests. Please do this again. We appreciate your presence. Some of my HODs from the sector, I see Pukutsi here, we'll meet again in Pumalanga. And the work that we do and the mandate given to us by MINMEC, we shall execute collectively with all the Public Works family as directed. Thank you once again, and I wish you safe travels as you go back home.
Hi, siyabonga. Siyabonga kakhulu, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us to the end of our beautiful evening. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Each and every one of you professionals. That's your new name. That's your new title. Thank you so much for having me this evening. To the Council of Built Environment, thank you so much. Please invite me again next year. To everybody else who was here, I wish you guys a great evening. Dinner is served, tables 1 to 6. We are free to go outside. There are 2 serving points. So 1 to 6 it will be shown which serving point to go to. And I think the rest can then follow. Thank you guys so much. Zawadi and her band are going to carry on playing while we eat and we relax and we network. Congratulations again to each and every one of you. See you again next year. Oh, sorry, and a group photo for all the winners. If you have won tonight, please come forward on stage. We're going to take a photo. Everybody else is free to please go have some supper. If you've won something, please come to the front for a group photo. Siyabonga. Winner? You a winner? Yes, thank you. Somewhere. Not sure where they're going to direct.